I think one of the biggest reasons that people don't travel during retirement obviously isn't because they don't have enough time. It's because they think they can't afford it. But what if you could reduce the cost of traveling without changing your experiences? Because the other day I was thinking, maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe I've been thinking about the cost of traveling the wrong way, because I have a few friends that are the same age as me, and they are like doing their thing. They are traveling everywhere. Both of these guys I went to high school with, and they both travel to places I would love to visit and save thousands of dollars on their travel costs because of the way they travel and how they plan their travel, and they're intentional about how they're paying for their travel. So Traveling Mike is going to join me today, and we're going to discuss this because he travels quite often, but there are probably a lot of people who are using the same techniques that he is when he's planning his travel costs. So today I'm going to talk to him about it because I need to start looking at it while I'm planning my trip, because let me tell you, that thing is just going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's actually more expensive than when I planned it out last year. So they always talk about work smarter, not harder. Where if I can travel smarter, I'm all for it. And I'm hoping by the end of this video, I have some tips that I can apply because I am actively planning my trip. So if there are things that I need to do in preparation for this trip, I got time and I need to get started right now. So I'm going to bring on Traveling Mike, and we're going to have one of our friend-to-friend conversations about traveling more for less. Let's do this. Okay, so we're back with Traveling Mike again today. Welcome, welcome. And today we're talking about travel because Mike travels a lot. He's got another trip coming up and he's going to share some of his tips. So I got a question to kick it off.
All right, Sherry.
Excuse me.
I said, all right, Sherry, go ahead. What's the question?
All right, so what's your most expensive trip that you've taken that you didn't pay full price? And then how did you go about reducing the cost?
The most expensive trip was the Holy Grail of travel for U.S. citizens, which is Hawaii. That trip was about a 10 to 12 day trip, if I recall. And it was expensive. That's all I can say. The food was expensive. The accommodations were expensive. Everything was expensive on that.
Everybody says, I mean, I went to Hawaii. It's been so long ago, easily like 25, 30 years. I don't even remember what it cost. Did you guys do a resort or did you just a la carte?
We typically, when I travel, it's all a la carte. Usually I follow the whatever hotel system that I'm in or have the most points. I follow that through, and some of them will be resorts, and some of them won't. But on this particular trip, I remember it was Hilton and Sheraton at the time before they merged with Marriott. So it was the combination of those two that I used to build that trip.
Which island were you on?
I went to 5 islands.
Well, that's why it was so expensive.
Right. It was 5 islands. It was 5 islands. Oahu, Maui, Kauai, the Big Island, and also Lanai, which wasn't private at the time. It was right before it went private.
Did you like the Big Island?
Oh, the Big Island was most adventurous. There was a lot of historical things there that I liked, a lot of geological things that I really found intriguing, like the different color sand. I didn't know that the most southern part of the United States is in Hawaii. So it's on the same parallel as Mexico City. So there was a lot of fascinating things about Hawaii that I really, really like, especially the Big Island.
See,
my favorite
because
was
that's
Kauai.
where I went, to the Big Island. I did not like it. actually, when I see pictures now, I think they've developed it a little bit more. Because Morgan, so it had to be around, oh, it was 96. That's when I went. We went
Okay.
in 96. I didn't like it. And we're thinking
Well,
about a trip next year because my sister's turning 80. So we're thinking about doing a group trip to Hawaii. And it's her birthday, so she gets to pick the destination, the island. But I'm like, please don't pick the big island. Like I just I
the,
don't
the
know.
big the
I
big
never
island
liked
is
it.
the big island is a split. It's lush on one side of the island, and on the western side of the island, it's very arid. So depending on where you stay and where you go, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's got high altitude, see where they grow coffee, a lot of coffee over there on that
Mhm.
island, macadamia nuts, what have you. And then you have an active volcano. So that's what made it interesting to
I
me.
do remember about the active volcano and the lava rocks. We were at a resort, so I think, like I said, I think I blocked it out. One because of the time difference. Morgan was only 2, so whereas my sister and my oldest daughter, they were out there living their best life. It's 6 hours behind. So 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock to her body, she's like ready to go, ready to
Right.
bed. So that affected, I think, that I didn't enjoy the trip, even though we broke it up. We flew to LA first, and then we went from LA to Hawaii. It wasn't a
It,
straight trip.
No,
So
no. Typically, that's the case. It's a grueling trip from the East Coast of the United States, without a doubt. It's 5 hours. It's 5 and 5 or 5 and 4. It's 9 hours to get there, and you're
I think,
beat.
yeah,
You're beat
it's
once you get there.
because from LA, I thought it was at least 5 plus from LA. Then it's
Right.
a long travel time. So how did you go about? So you said that was the most expensive, that you didn't pay full price. So what did you do?
So first of all, because it was a long trip, we flew premium class all the way through, and so that helped with the that helped getting us to the destination, so we weren't totally beat down. We flew into Oahu, and then we went to, I think Kauai was the first island, then to Maui, and we used inter island. At that time, it would have been Hawaiian Air, and they were a partner with, I believe it was Northwest and Delta, both Northwest and Delta, and I was flying both of them pretty heavy at the time. And so those flights, those inter island flights, because I flew from island to island, they were free.
Mm,
Or I hate saying they were free. We earned those tickets. So,
okay. So
so
so you did that because, well, are most of your points because you're using points? Is that what
correct.
you? Is that because I know you used to travel a lot for your job? Is that how you're accumulating a lot of the points, or is it through your personal travel?
It was no, but now with that, it was a lot business related, mostly business related. So
So the
that,
flight from Detroit, well, you weren't from Detroit, from the East Coast to Hawaii, that was points too. Did you fly for
yes,
free or just reduced fare? You don't remember?
I hate to use the word free because you earn those points. They make you earn all of those points, and so we flew
Okay.
on. We flew. We got we ended up getting those tickets, gratis of, at that point. No, I think it was Northwest that we flew.
So all of your airfare was earned points.
Yes,
Because I can't
yeah,
say free.
yeah.
So your airfare for the whole trip, you didn't pay for any of it?
No,
Oh, that's a savings. That's
yeah.
definitely.
That's a total savings. It's a total savings, and I believe I stick with one. I stuck with one rental car company at the time, and I believe it was national. I think it was national on that trip, or it could have been Hertz, because I bounced between two of them, but there was only one trip. One I used one rental car company, and I rented cars in all the locations, and I had enough rental car free days of rental for each island, so I was able
So we're
to.
up to free airfare and free rental car.
Yeah. That's why it's the holy grail. If you can pull it off, and I was deep into it.
Okay, so before we do that, so what about your accommodations? Because lodging a lot of times is the most expensive part of the trip.
Right, and it was, and we stayed. I split it up between Hilton and Sheraton. That was the split, and I stayed. I believe I stayed in Kauai in Princeville, which is the north part of Kauai, which was earned and free, and all of it was except for the Big Island. The Big
Oh,
Island,
you had to
it
pay
was
for the Big Island?
I had to pay for the Big Island, yeah.
So I need to recap because I'm gonna tell you once again, like my head is spinning. So through points, you pay for airfare, car rental, and everything but the Big Island on lodging.
Yes,
Like, how long does
yes.
it take you to accumulate that level of points?
It took me, I believe I went in 2000 or something, 99, 2000. Um, and what it took was about 2 or 3 years.
To
About two or
accumulate
three
that?
years.
That's still not bad.
No,
That's still.
there were other trips that I took prior to that. I mean, while I was building, but the
No, I'm just
goal
saying
was,
to accumulate that had to have been a lot of points to cover all of that cost. That's
yeah. Well, like you, that was the one trip I had to put a spreadsheet together. That was the spreadsheet trip because it was so
I'm
much
about the
statistics involved.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. It was that I will admit I used a spreadsheet on that one because it was so many different there were different airlines. Basically, there were two. There was Northwest and also Hawaiian Air at the time, and there were the rental cars. There were the excursions. The excursions were helicopter trips. Because what I did is with the cash money that I spent, we went to excursions. We went on excursions, helicopter rides.
Okay.
You know,
You
that
saw
kind of
me
thing.
because I thought you just said you paid for the helicopters with points too. I was like, okay, I'm
No,
gonna need a class.
no.
I'm like, wait a
Actually,
minute, you paid for excursions too? Okay, so you
no,
paid
no.
cash for the
I paid
excursion.
cash for the excursion. That was the
Okay.
one thing that I paid cash for were the excursions at the time. Yeah. Now
Okay,
things have
so
changed a lot in the last 25 years in the old travel business.
oh yeah,
So
it definitely requires more points, but even for 2000 early 2000s to do all that on points is still impressive. That's still impressive.
I was impressed with myself. Yeah, thank you. No, it was a lot of work. That's why I say it's you earn those benefits because you have to work for them. You really have to work and be diligent and be disciplined and focused.
Yeah, so because you remember the trip, like was it a special occasion or you guys just always want to go to Hawaii?
Every other year we would go on a big trip. And
No.
so that's why I remember, I think it was 1998 or it was a 2000 that on the even years we went on big trips. And I believe that was the one that I totally put everything into.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna break it down. So how you go about doing it? Because it's points, but how are you earning the points?
How was I earning? I was earning the
Or how you
points.
earned them for that trip? But you're still traveling now. Like I said,
Right.
you've already been on a couple of trips this year, and I think you told me either this month or next month you guys are going somewhere else. So
Yes.
yeah, so even back then and now, like how are you putting together all the points to actually pay for your trips?
Well, back then it was actually traveling, and the travel was locked into a hotel, it was locked into a flight, it was locked into the rental car. So it was a constant kind of Ferris wheel of travel items that I was doing on a weekly basis. So this was not a monthly thing or kind of an ad hoc thing. This was every week I was on a plane going somewhere.
For
And
work.
so that made it so they build on it, and those points they build on each other, and folks that are in the frequent flyer world, they know that once you get to a certain level, then you get X amount of double points and bonus points, and they start throwing things at you that typically when you first start out you don't get.
Okay, so we're gonna have to break this down like I'm five because I am actively planning my extended European trip. So we're
Okay.
gonna go category by category, how you did it, because to help me and then the people who are listening. So we'll start with transportation, which we're just gonna do airfare, then your rental cars, and then hotels last. So
Oh, and
for
there's one other thing. There's one other very important with this particular trip in particular. Your meals and your food are
oh yeah,
astronomical. Okay. And what's important was important is as where we stayed was very important to take advantage of the happy
the free
hours and
meals.
also the breakfast. Because if you didn't, they were like $35 to $40 a person per day if
Oh
you
no,
missed
it
breakfast.
can add up depending on,
Oh
like,
yeah,
especially it can add up.
12 days. Yeah, it could add up.
Because even now, when I look at hotels, I look to see if the free breakfast is included, especially when it was just me and the girls, because that
Uh-huh.
saves a meal for three people.
Oh,
Because,
exactly. Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It saves
Okay,
a
so we
lot.
got four categories. So we're going to
Yes.
start with the airfares. So you were paying for airfares through your business travel or through you and your friends?
It was through business travel. It was through
Okay.
business travel primarily.
Yeah.
That was the number one driver was the business travel. And that's the number one incentive for people to get on a plane and leave their families and leave their homes on a regular basis, that you have some type of incentive out there that you can work toward, so you're not totally torn up by leaving home and leaving the family and missing events and what have you. And that's why companies typically let you roll with that without trying to take it from you.
Okay. So you use it like now, does it pay for your airfare or does it just pay for upgrades? For that trip, it paid for it, but in general, does it pay or does it just give you an upgrade? Your points are for airfare.
Typically, typically it just pays for the airfare. But now, as I get older in my senior years, I'm upgrading more as well. So I'm paying and then upgrading it.
Because all of these planes to me, like I'm only 5'1", there's not a lot of leg room.
It's not
Like
a, it's not
yeah, yeah.
when you talk about, and I know we're on limited time. You got to look at the leg room. You got to look at the pitch, which is the recline, and you got to look at the width. So
See, I
those
don't
are
recline, so I don't worry about it.
well, if you're 6 feet or better, 6 feet or around that you want to make your
You want to
trip
recline?
relaxing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you got to
so
look at all of those things. So you want to look at the aircraft as well that
but
you're going to be
you're
flying.
not traveling on, well, Spirit's gone now, but you're not traveling on the discount carriers. Are you only doing Delta or
I was, what the way you really want to do it is you want to target one specific airline and their partners.
okay.
Okay, so you don't want to go off into the discount world unless it's absolutely critical to get you from point A to point B to hit a meeting or hit some type of an event that you got to be there, and the discount carrier will get you there. May not get you back, but they'll get you
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it don't even get you out. Like, a few years ago, I did have an issue with that. We won't call the airline by name, but and I end up having to get on Delta because the discount carrier, it was the second time in a couple of months, it canceled a flight on me. And it screws up everything because if you can't
right.
get out, like, then you ain't getting back either because
Right.
you not leaving. But so okay, so that's your airfare. You're pretty much, but now I'm gonna slide this in and then we'll get back to this. Now you're retiring. So how is
Right.
that going to affect your travel as far as your points? Because you were earning a lot through your business travel.
Okay, so as I've changed, so has the travel industry's changed as well. And
Okay.
one of the big things that they've moved to or they shifted to is co-branding with Capital One,
Oh,
JP Morgan Chase, and American Express with these airline credit cards. And so now you have a lot of travelers are moving have moved in that direction, and that's the direction that I've moved into as well, is to have those affinity cards, tied in to my travel and also to my everyday spending.
So we kind of talked about this a little because I know a lot of people are doing this now where they pretty much pay for everything on their credit card, the things
Correct.
that are part of their lifestyle, not just running their credit cards up. And then they just pay the bill off so that they get the points.
Right.
So that's part of your strategy.
Yes. Right. And that's part of the strategy now is to, big ticket items, make sure you can pay. If you have the cash, just go ahead and pay for it by a credit card and then just then pay the credit card off at the end of the month.
Yeah. Because I've talked to a few people that use that. Like this one lady, I don't know if she was doing it for, we used to be in a group together, not a mastermind, just some type of group. And she said that was just how she paid her bills. I don't know that she was doing for the travel credit. She was like, well, I just put everything on the credit card. And then at the end of the month, I pay it off. And I told her, yeah, I don't know if I'm that disciplined. I haven't done that. And I get cash back. When I had credit cards, I had cash back. I didn't have miles. So it wouldn't have been as beneficial, I don't think, to me anyway. And so I'll have to look into it. I've put it on my list of things to do of which credit cards give them the points for travel too, not just cash back. Because I don't think they all do points for travel.
Not all of them. Not all of them do. Some of them, most of them do. And what they
Okay.
do is that they'll say, okay, we'll give you 2 times or 3 times. They'll have a multiplier on your spend at the grocery store, or if you're going to buy airline ticket, they multiply it times 3, times 4, times 5. And so that's the incentive. Now, if you're in a hub for a major airline, i.e. Atlanta, Delta, Detroit, Delta, Minneapolis, Delta, if you're, United, then you're in Newark. If you're in Baltimore, then it's going to be Southwest. Then you want to make sure you get a card that kind of links into that, depending on where you live, links into it. So if you're in Charlotte, you want to definitely get American Airlines. If you're in Dallas Fort Worth, you definitely want to
So
get
how does
American.
that help? Okay, let's stick with Delta. So Delta, if you're out of Detroit, how does that help you?
Because if you look at the frequency and the volume of flights coming out of Detroit, they're going to be Delta. So
Yeah.
the probability of you living in Detroit and having to get to Atlanta, you're going to probably fly Delta. Or if you're going to fly to Orlando, you're going to probably fly Delta. So you want to make sure that you have a card that is beneficial or is aligned with with Delta Airlines.
Oh, because that's the likelihood that's who you'll book.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I was trying to connect the dots. I'm like, okay, you lost me. So so sticking to Delta because I know some people Delta offers a card, I think.
Yeah,
And
they
you
have
get
a number of products that depending on your budget, depending on what you're willing to spend as far as the annual fee, they have a number of products that will enhance your trip.
so do you have a Delta card?
Yeah.
And how does that help you? Does it get you into their lounge and like you have perks with it or something?
Well, that's a whole nother that yes, you do have perks with that. You can get into the lounges depending on which card you have. Um, I'm in a program that's totally outside of the credit card program with Delta on that. So that works in a whole different thing. But yes, the lounge thing is part
Wait
of
a minute,
that.
is it a secret club? Is it secret membership you
I
can't
got a lot of
share?
secrets.
You can't share it with us? Like, so you're in a different
I can't share with Sherry today on that.
okay. All right, we'll move on. Okay, so lodging is the next, that's probably your largest expense. And Hawaii seems to be a unicorn because it seems like, is that typical that you usually get that much free on a trip? Like that
No,
trip,
it's unusual. It's unusual.
oh,
It's unusual,
okay.
but it's not out of the ordinary. It's unusual, but it can be done.
So on your travels now, are you like paying some of the lodging and getting some through your points, or are you still getting your lodging for earned credits?
It depends. It depends on a number of things. A lot of times, Marriott or Hilton will have different programs. If you say so, certain amount of nights during a season, they'll give you some free nights. Okay, so that adds up too. or they'll have bonuses where if you stay, 4 times in the summer, we'll double your points. Okay, so that kind of leans me to Marriott if Marriott is doing it, or it leads me to Hilton if Hilton is doing it.
Okay. So rent a car, the rental cars.
Right.
How are you paying for those?
Rental cars are interesting because, and this was all pre-COVID, because what I found out is from a dollars and cents standpoint, I can almost do what I need to do, especially if it's a quick turnaround. I can expedite my time faster by going Uber, and I'll just forego the rental car. Rental cars are kind of sneaky in regards to their
They're
cost.
expensive lately.
They're expensive, and you don't, because you're looking at the hotel and you're looking at the airline. You're like, oh yeah, I'll just rent a car, but that expense is kind of wedged in there, and you really don't pay attention to it because you got these two big giant expenses relative to the trip, and it kind of sneaks in there on you. And so I looked at it, I'm like, why am I paying $100 or $89 or $69 a day for 4 days when I can just take an Uber and get to where I really need to go? And then if I need, I can walk, I can do other things to get to where I need to go. So
yeah, I think it depends on where you are, because in some cities, especially with parking, like if you're in a city where parking is very expensive, is on top of the rental car, and then Lord help you when you go through Texas, all those toll roads, like it can add up because they're just capturing you when you're on the road, and then you get the bill through the rental car company. So I think the rental car is like a moving target. Like it really depends on what city you're in. Like I went to Houston last year, and I was downtown on a day that there was a baseball game, and parking was $50. I think, and I went, the same place during the week when there wasn't a game, and it was averaging like, I think 10, 12, something like that. It's ridiculous. So, and the same thing will happen in downtown Detroit. I'm sure
it has happened.
Yeah, I'm sure here in Atlanta too. Like if there's a game going on, like the parking. So if you're traveling and you're in town for all that, so like I said, I think rental cars are a moving target. But Uber lately, I don't know if you're running into this in your travel, because of gas prices. I find their time to arrive to you is slower and the rates are higher.
Yes, there's a little bit of a habuki going on with Uber in regards to the surge pricing. It starts raining, it goes up. You're at the airport, it goes up. It's kind of like, it's late at night, the price goes up. So there's a like I said, there's a hocus pocus going on with Uber that I'm still trying to figure out. I like them, but I'm still trying to figure out.
I like them, but like I said, that when I came home last month, I knew about what I normally paid. It wasn't that. And coming from the airport, normally you don't have to wait for a car. I had to wait. Like usually they're just lined up because, people are getting off planes. So when I mentioned it to a friend, she was like, well, gas prices, not as many people. And I was like, that's probably it. Like not as many people are actually out there driving now, because you figure it's an expense for them. And I don't know how much Uber pays. So we got to summarize. So you have to recap, put it all together. So you're using hotel points, you're using credit card points, like recap everything just in a summary.
So basically, it all depends on where where you're going, but you want to make sure you have a bucket. You have these different buckets, as you just kind of explained. You have the bucket of the airlines, you have the bucket of the hotels, you have the bucket of the rental car. And so you have these buckets that are out there, and then you want to be able to pull from them depending on where you want to go.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't want to use anything in the bucket. I mean, if for example, if I wanted to come to, if I want to go to Raleigh, Durham, I don't want to use anything in my bucket.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I want to go to San Francisco, I probably want to use something in my bucket.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you're traveling out of the country. We'll wrap with this. Your next trip is out of the country.
Right.
Did you plan for? I'm assuming that you planned for that out of your buckets.
Yes. Yes. The airline is definitely out of the bucket.
And is that 100% or partially paid?
That's 100%.
So the
It's
airfare is free.
100%. Now the question is do I? And this is the kind of the caveat. Do I want to upgrade? Do I want to pay for that upgrade? Do I want to upgrade to comfort? Do I want to upgrade to business class? Do I want to do that, or do I want to sit in an exit row? Which I had to pay. I had to pay a premium to sit.
Oh, you got to pay a
exit
premium
row.
for exit rows. You got to pay a premium
Yeah,
for exit
that's
rows.
it's called a preferred seat. So
Yeah, because all that leg room.
Because you get that little extra leg room, you know.
Mhm.
So I have a little problem with that, because in case of an emergency, you're in the exit row and they want you to help, but you got to pay to sit in the exit row. So how does that work? Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that, but it is a premium seat.
Right. Well, it's kind of like the self-checkout at a grocery store. I'm doing somebody else's job, but I get no discount on the food. And so, I kind of run with that a little bit.
See, you've given this some thought.
That's the way my brain works. Why am I doing your job and I'm not getting paid for it?
Christy will not do self-checkout for that reason. Her thing is they are paying those people over there. That's their job. I told her I do it for convenience, because a lot of times you can get in and out. And I'm not if I'm grocery shopping, but when you're just running in there, I use self-checkout all the time. Okay, so so for this trip, your original airline ticket was free, but you paid the upgrade. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes. Was your lodging 100%, or you're paying for some of the lodging?
At this point, I'm paying for the lodging. I could go into the bucket and change that. And I'm trying to figure out, it out right now. Because
I got a question.
What'll happen is I'm going to try to do this quickly. What'll happen is that I may be able to use the points from this trip, if I pay cash, for the next big trip.
So what determines if, like you're trying to determine, what determines if you use the bucket versus paying cash?
The price of the accommation. There's a threshold.
Okay. So you have a threshold, like if you think you're going somewhere where the cost will be more expensive, you're going to save your points.
Right.
Okay. And then we're not, because now you're Ubering more than rental cars. So really right now your points are just airfare and lodging.
Right.
And your lodging, you're taking into account whether or not they're including some meals.
The lodging, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. The lodging has to, the meals are like the rental. They kind of sneak in on you.
Oh, no, they can add up. On a daily
basis. Yeah. And they add up.
So you still not doing this in a spreadsheet? Like, how are you tracking this?
Well, I got it up here.
We're getting too old up here. Like they get a little confused, and they don't get confused
because
up there. But
I'm only going to one spot. I mean, I'm not. It's not like Hawaii where I got 4 to 5 different islands I got to bounce to, and I got.
Oh no, I don't mean the trip itself. I'm saying like, so because I don't think you're traveling as much as you used to for business.
No.
So when I'm saying keeping up with it in a spreadsheet, I'm talking about the miles, which buckets they're in, what trip you might apply it to, because you're earning, like you said, the airlines, that's a bigger thing now with the credit cards. Like a lot of the credit cards are doing that. So, and I'm assuming like most people that I know that do that, they have multiple credit cards.
Correct.
And then you got the secret Delta thing going on. And so, so that's what I'm saying. So you can't be keeping that all up there. Like you're not tracking it on pen and paper in a spreadsheet.
No,
like
because in the scheme of things, there's 4 buckets that I look at. Okay, there's a Delta bucket, there's a Hilton bucket, there's a Bonvoy bucket, which is Marriott, and then there's American Express. So there's only 4 of them. So you just go to the website.
It can be 4. So for your credit cards, not digging deep into your finance, you're only using American Express to generate points, or you got another. That's what I'm saying. Like
not necessarily. No. Because the Chase is in the mix too. Okay. But they're not the bigger player in my world at this point. It used to be.
Okay.
Chase with Southwest used to be a big player. Not so much anymore because the travel has changed, and they are all domestic. They were all domestic, and depending on what region I would always fly to, they had flights going in, and sometimes they didn't.
So you said Hilton and Marriott. So when
Hilton
you
Marriott,
travel
yeah.
overseas, because I noticed when I was planning my trip, maybe because I was looking at Airbnbs, I didn't see a lot of big, the big brands. So are they big outside the United States?
They're huge. They're
Oh, okay.
huge out. They're huge outside in the different countries you could say France, or you could say Spain, or what have you, or you could go out to Japan and in Thailand and what have you, to the Far East, and they take the affinity and the continuity programs very, very seriously with their franchise. They take it very, very seriously. You get a lot of different perks. Here you may get, oh yeah, we gave you a corner room. Well, there they may give you a whole suite. They may give you, a butler, and that has happened from time to time based on where you're going in the world. They take it very, very seriously. They take that your loyalty very, very seriously, and that's why. And that's why
But
I kind of shied back away from. I've tried the Verbo and the Airbnb, but it depending on the where I'm going, it can dictate and how many people I'm going with. You got the big family, then the scale is a little different.
yeah, it's probably easier maybe to get a house.
Yeah,
So really, your primary travel, Delta, Marriott, Hilton,
right.
and something else. You
You
said,
got
American Express.
American Express, yeah.
And you're doing it all through, like if I summarized it, when you fly, you're doing your frequent flyers. And then to earn points for the hotel, you're pretty much just paying on credit and then paying it off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, might not fit into my planning.
What?
Well, for
You went
one,
through all that and
because
you're like,
so
well,
we're gonna wrap it up. I don't want to do a woe is me Sherry story. For one, I don't travel on Delta as much just because for me, and we talked about this, I don't want to talk about it on this call. For me, their pricing is always like sometimes significantly higher than other airlines. And
you
Delta
get
is not
you get what you
necessarily
pay for.
always on time. And, they got
You
their own
get
issues.
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I paid a premium for Deltas
Right, right.
and I still was delayed significantly, like time wise. That was
Okay.
a summer, it was a lot of storms. So I'm saying you're paying a premium for them, but they still have their issues too, as far as their flights, whether they're canceled, whether they're on time. They might not statistically, I don't know what it is compared to the discount. I'm just saying they have their own issues too. And the pricing is a lot higher. Normally, when I'm traveling, especially when I was going from Vegas to Detroit, because I told you for whatever reason that market is overpriced. I'm looking for the best deal on the price. Like
Right. Okay.
I don't find their planes. The only thing I like about Delta's planes are the movies. But I don't need to pay an extra couple of $100 for a movie because I can bring my tablet or my phone. Like I could bring
Right.
something
I
with me.
got you. I got you.
And like I said, I'm 5'1". I was on a Delta flight. I felt bad for the two guys next to me, but I guess I'm not a nice enough person to switch my seat. Like I was in the window. I was cramped at 5'1". I could only imagine how he felt being it. I don't think they give that much more leg room on those planes either. Now I don't know the size planes and the model planes and all of that, but I'm just saying for the difference in the pricing, I want a difference in the experience, and we're gonna have to let it rest right there.
Thank
But
you.
I appreciate it because, like I said, I am looking because the price tag on my trip is adding up. But I have been looking at Airbnbs because I prefer Airbnbs to hotels. But I thought because I'm in some Facebook groups too, travel groups, that I might have to like expand my search to hotels while I'm over there.
Okay.
And yeah, so I wanted to see because you and another classmate, you guys are doing some pretty nice trips, and the experience that is there, but you're doing it. for a lot less on your costs.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna bring Traveler Mike back for, we don't know what yet, but he'll be back. This isn't the last time you'll see him. All right, we're gonna
Thank
wrap it up
you.
there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We'll
Thanks for
talk to you
joining me.
soon. Okay. Bye-bye now.
So as Mike and I were talking, you could tell like the thoughts in my head were just swirling because he travels internationally quite a bit as well as domestically. He used to travel a lot for business, as he stated, but personal too with he and his wife. Like they just came back from Vegas. They're going somewhere next month. Like they're my people say couple goals. They're my travel goals because I don't know if I want to travel that much throughout the year, but I do want to take multiple trips in one year, some of which inside the United States, some out. Vancouver is on my list as far as I've always wanted to go to Vancouver. So there are different things, and to do that, I got to make these trips more cost effective. But after we finished up the call, he started talking about more of the perks inside the lounge. So we're going to do a bonus episode on that. And then when I was like, okay, well, let's move on to this topic, he was like, wait a minute. We're finished with travel. I got a lot more to say. So Traveling Mike, we're going to do a series, Conversations with Traveling Mike. And he's going to share just different things about getting through security, getting through customs, when you reach your destination, the conveniences of, making arrangements to be picked up, the type of experiences you want to have. So it's now turned into a thing. So I hope you join us on the journey because for me, he knows that I'm trying to plan my own trip. So as well as I'm picking his brain, I'm also sharing his experiences with you so that if you too want to travel more and not pay as much, join the journey because you see he has a system, and to pretty much fund a trip to Hawaii with only paying for excursions because the excursions can get a little pricey, that to me was impressive. So that's going to wrap it up today. Come back for the rest of the series. We've already talked about the lounges, he and I, and these are conversations. So they're not going to be structured. They're not going to be organized. It's two friends talking about how we can travel in this season of our life, enjoy the travel with not it being this trip that's based on pinching pennies. We're just strategically and intentionally finding places to lower the cost, whether it's via points, you're in a program through your credit card company, through the airlines, whatever it is. How can you maximize the benefits of these things that may already be available to you? So again, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Come back, continue on the journey with us as we have conversations with Mike. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.